Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Dad jeans. Dad jeans.
Oh, well, this is great.
Yeah, we're both recording.
This is wonderful. Then
Regular old recording party over here.
we're having one of those recording parties they used to have in college where people would record each other's naked bodies.
Oh, is that? Well, you are naked right now. I can see on the Zoom.
It wouldn't be dad jeans if I weren't.
Yes, that's so true. I didn't get a chance to finish our last week's episode. It's upsetting. I feel I haven't heard Brian L. Perkins yet, which I know is a highlight for many listeners, and maybe would be for me as well.
He outclasses us, and it makes me upset. As a man.
Yeah, he's too good.
He's too much man.
Yeah, that's true. He's just got that secret sauce.
He has it. And the best part of him is he will never know he has it.
No, that's why he has it.
Yep.
That's like 90% of the sauce is not knowing you have the sauce.
I just hope his family knows he has the sauce.
Me too.
So that
Sam,
sometimes they can during his eulogy they can be like, "We knew. He didn't know."
another good friend of ours, Samuel Sadden, once he used to tutor some kid. I'm going to screw this story up, and Sam's going to be like punching his dashboard. No, he lives in New York. He doesn't have a dashboard.
He just has to punch fellow subway riders.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be punching the guy reading the New York Post in front of him, as he should be. But he tutored some kid whose, I think his nickname was the Juice. And so he got T-shirts made, and for the kid, he got a shirt made that said, "I have the juice." And for himself, he got a shirt made that said, "I wish I had the juice."
Fantastic. I thought you were going to say
walk around.
I thought his T-shirt was going to say, "I tutor the juice."
No, that maybe would have been a little bit more.
Pretty excellent.
Yeah. But we watched a documentary last night about it's a Netflix documentary about this guy who like follows an octopus. He like lives on the tip of South Africa, and he needs to get his life back in order. So he just starts like doing these. He just learns how to like free dive, where you just like hold your breath for like 15 minutes underwater or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he's a nature photographer. And so he just like hangs out in this kelp forest, and he finds this octopus, and he becomes fast friends with the octopus, and he just goes and hangs out with the octopus for like a year basically.
That's fantastic.
Oh, it's fascinating. It's so good. But
octopuses are definitely not of this earth.
Oh God, no! Just all the stuff that they do. I mean, I kind of knew much of it, but like they have a little drill that at the end of their tentacles for like getting through conch shells, and they would but they know they have to get it at this exact right part to hit the correct nerve that kills the conch, and like they just know where that correct right part of the shell is.
They can unscrew peanut butter jars, right?
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that.
At the New England Aquarium, there was an octopus that was getting out of its enclosure. There were two separate fish tanks, and the octopus, after it would wait on purpose for everyone to go home for the night, wait till it was alone, and then go up to the top of its enclosure, unscrew the lid, escape, shuffle over to the other tank, and go down and feast on all the other fish. And then before everyone came back, because it had memorized the schedule, it would go back into its own tank and then just be like...
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very clear from watching this documentary that that is a smart animal there. And like it has so many superpowers too.
Mm-hmm. It can also pluck your eyeball out with just one sucker.
Ooh, ouch.
Keep those things away from your eyes.
Yeah, no, thank you. I guess my dream that I developed last night of living among the octopi just changed.
Well, wear goggles. You got to wear goggles.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Because they give you hickeys, and the octopus people have like the long hickey line across their faces.
Yeah, oof. No, I don't want an eye hickey. No, thank you. No eye hickey for Mickey. I don't know what that means.
I know what it means.
At least you do.
It's nice to see you, and it's nice to see you haven't evacuated yet.
Oh God, I haven't. Should we name ourselves?
Oh, yes, let's. I'm Brendan Hughes, and this is Dad Jeans, a podcast for men by men about, about
About
men
men.
that smells like men.
That's open to women too.
Oh, right. It's also for
Yeah.
women
It's also for women.
and by women.
Yeah, ooh, that's true. Yeah, well, that plays into one of my questions later. Gender means nothing anymore, baby.
And gender reveal parties. Are we going to talk about this later or are we going to talk about it now? These fucking things.
Has that been determined to be real? I still haven't gotten like the absolute the end all be all on that one. First of all, it's not the Bobcat fire, which is the one near me.
All right.
Which I thought for a while, I thought it would be fun to be the guy to be like, yeah, gender reveal party is destroying my life, but that one wasn't. That's not necessarily the one that's destroying my life.
That one's out by San Bernardino.
Yeah, San Berdue, as they say.
Yeah, baby, why don't we go?
I just actually I actually heard that song the other day, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm at the age where I can kind of think Kokomo's a jam.
No, Jeff.
I kind of liked it. It was just taking me. I was like, this is just like a dumb, cheesy song. I'm all for it. Come on. When you hear it, you're just like, okay. Okay.
Pretty mama. I mean,
yeah.
Their song Vegetables, my favorite vegetables, and also Busy Doing Nothing are such.
I don't know Dizzy Doing Nothing, I don't think.
These are, have you listened to the album Friends? And are you aware that Friends is better than Pet Sounds?
I think you're just being controversial here, but I have listened to this record and it's a good record. Yes.
This is my this is how I troll people. I'm not some right-wing asshole. I'm a progressive like every other real person. So I can't troll people with that. All I can troll people about is that Friends is better than Pet Sounds.
Oh, okay. I'll believe you. Oh, by the way, I'm Jeffrey Dinsmore. I haven't said my name yet.
No, you haven't.
Okay. Sorry. But no, Friends. Okay, Friends better than Pet Sounds. We'll just let that stand. I don't want to have a Beach Boys fight.
It could be a dad versus dad at some point.
Oh, we could do that. I'll have to listen intently and just like hear. Oh, speaking of, we haven't I challenged thee from last week. We haven't figured out how to work that in.
Shit, and I haven't listened to it yet.
Okay, that's fine. Well,
okay.
We'll do a revisit of the I challenge
at some point. Yeah, I think a 1 week turnaround, given how life is going to be too rough. So
I'm listening to an album. I'm listening to an album. That's not enough time for Brendan to listen to an album. He can't do that in a week. I got to read a whole book. He's giving me a week to do that.
Have you met the year 2020? I'm busy sandbagging at the public library right now for the flood of murder hornets.
Oh Jesus. Okay. What? So what was the Dizzy? What was that leading to?
Oh shit! I forget. Oh, the fact that they write lyrics. They can write lyrics about. He can write lyrics about anything. Busy Doing Nothing is directions.
Brian Wilson doesn't write the lyrics, I believe. Did he?
Did he? Didn't he?
I don't think Brian Wilson wrote the lyrics.
Oh, was that?
I think it was all Van Dyke Parks.
It wasn't Shecky Wilson.
No. No, I think Brian Van Dyke Parks wrote all of his lyrics. He's like an Elton John figure.
Oh,
but
really?
Sorry, go ahead.
But Busy Doing Nothing is directions to his house. That's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible. It's what he did in the morning. I had to make a lot of phone calls because things were so scrambled, etc., etc.
I had to make a lot of phone calls. Is it like that?
Yeah, it's even weirder because like when you're growing up and like MTV and VH1 occasionally plays Kokomo, you're like, the Beach Boys suck, and then they just play like their old big hits, and you're like, ah. But it's after if you get off the main drag and start looking at the residential houses of Beach Boys songs, you're like,
oh sure,
oh, these are lovely Victorians.
Oh yeah, sure. No, of course. They've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He did write lyrics. He wrote I Get Around. Interesting.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, apparently he did. Apparently he got around.
I want to say this last thing. I ordered you that book, The Mezzanine by Nicholson Baker.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It should be on its way.
Oh, that's interesting. Like Brian Wilson is a being of complete emotion. He gets so carried away by emotion, he has trouble articulating. Other writers have mentioned that Brian needs a co-writer mainly because he needs assurance that his idea is good before he goes on. Okay.
The whimsy with which some of these songs, like My Favorite Vegetables, like these songs are so bizarre.
That's Van Dyke Parks.
Okay,
apparently.
that makes sense.
Mike Love wrote a lot of them too, who's a fucking dickbag. But yeah, I love that one. That's a good one. The vegetable song.
Yeah, with the crunch solo.
Oh God, so good. Yeah.
Pretty great.
Once I brought a big brown bag of them home.
That's great. I saw a picture of one of our listeners that blew me away, and the picture was posted by your sister, and it was of your dad playing some sick solo with plaid pants way up the neck.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the solo was way up the neck, not the pants.
Yeah, he was a rocker, man.
I was like, damn, Dennis. So is he in some sort of rock band?
Well, he was. He didn't. So he jammed. I've never quite gotten the extent to like how much he was a member of this band or how much he just jammed with them. But there's a band called Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen.
Excellent.
Who are like they're like anyone who's into garage rock would know about this band. Like really into garage rock would know about this band. They're like the Monks. Like they're that era where it's just like they're like pioneers in garage band. And they still play like garage rock festivals. But they did have you ever heard Hot Rod Lincoln?
No.
My pappy said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that Hot Rod Lincoln.
Yeah.
So he was not on he was gone by the time of their first album, but I've never been able to tell. And he's a Dad Jeans listener. So I'm sure I'm going to get a call from him saying in this later next week, he's going to be like, well, hell yeah, I was in Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen. But I could never tell if he just jammed with them, if he was friends with those guys and he'd just play with them, or if he was actually like an official member of the band.
I see. Wow.
I've never seen any pictures of him like playing on stage. So my guess is that he just knew those guys and fooled around with them. But
and they were like, here to do this solo, the Big D.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he'd just go up on stage at the Blind Pig, perhaps, and bust out a couple of notes with him.
He was clearly soloing. He wasn't playing no power chords on that neck. He was up way past the 12th fret, just like.
Yeah, he had a whole setup. He had like a giant reel-to-reel tape recorder that he used to like record songs on. Yeah, that's maybe where I got my rock and roll spirit from, Brendan.
God damn. Which means there's hope for the future with Hazel and Eli running around.
Eli's got a little rock in him. Hazel has a fantastic singing voice, but she's just like she doesn't want to do it. It's like something that comes so natural to her that I'll be like, just sing something, and she'll be like, no, I'm not interested.
Oh,
but I'm hoping that will change someday, because it really she just hit like from day one. She's just been hitting the notes like.
That is
very
awesome.
impressive.
That's amazing.
Oh, okay. So sorry. Before we alienate too many listeners, I did want to start out. I'm looking at the outline. I wanted to start with the plugs up front.
Oh, sure.
Because we have had this project. We should. Can I announce our secret project to my listeners? Our listeners.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I just did a Freudian slip there, didn't I? My listeners.
Well, the only thing really wrong with that was pluralizing listener.
That's true. Yeah. Can I talk to my listener now? So, Dad. No. So we've had this project. We've had this idea in mind for a while now that we want to do a. We'd love to take some clips from Dad Jeans and animate them. Turn them into like fun little like crudely animated shorts. Some of our like funniest moments. But it's hard for us to do. Like Brendan doesn't even have time to listen to a 45-minute rock and roll album by one of the greatest bands of all time. So obviously he doesn't have time to sit around listening to Dad Jeans and pulling out clips.
Certainly not. But
so
that's that band, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you are listening to Dad Jeans and something particularly strikes your funny bone, and you have the bandwidth or wherewithal to make a little note in your phone and send it our way, that would be amazing. If you want to go back in the archives, listeners, and pull out some favorite moments from the past and send them our way, that would be amazing.
Oh my God! Whatever. This never occurred to me.
Yes.
We have a whole resource.
We should crowdsource this for sure.
The only one I ever think of, like when I think like, well, if we ever did a Dad Jeans Greatest Hits reel, is there was one rant about private equity. That's the only one I can ever think of, which was like a year and a half ago. And I think to myself, when I think about the hundreds and hundreds of hours of Dad Jeans, I feel like the crowning achievement is the 5 minutes about private equity.
It's really our entire essence distilled into a 5-minute rant.
Yep.
I don't remember anything. I remember nothing. It's like my children's lives, especially because it like came at the time when our kids were so little, and like every day you're just like, wait, what happened yesterday? I don't know. That's how Dad Jeans has been to me. So, we would love it. And how do you contact us in this day and age? We've lost our phone number through misuse.
It's gone. I know our phone number's gone. Our websites were hacked.
Yeah.
There's nowhere away. I guess on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah.
People can still contact us on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, or we have dadjeanspodcast@gmail.com as well, right?
Oh yeah, that still exists. If that's what it is. Oh my God.
Who uses email? I open my email nowadays. It's just like garbage. It's just like it's all junk mail.
Yeah.
Like I don't get an email from a human anymore.
It's just terrible. And you can tell someone was born before 19 blank by the fact that they still use email.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, come on, get out of there. We should have a you know what we should get is a
Discord.
Speaking of, no, what's that thing, that competitor to Slack that everyone uses? Discord.
Discord, yeah. We should get a Discord.
Yes, and apparently Discord you can talk over each other.
Oh, wait, what?
Just like FaceTime.
Oh, really?
Discord uses the same protocol as FaceTime, so we could start using that potentially for group chats. But that's inside baseball.
The Dad Jeans Discord would be pretty great. So we'll see you on the Discord, you guys.
Yes,
we're gonna be having a virtual barbecue.
Yeah,
whatever they do.
We could just move the Angel. We could move the Angel Fire forums over just a whole cloth
to Discord.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. All right.
Okay.
See you there.
See you there. We're not done yet, right?
That's not the end? Oh, okay. Sorry.
The other thing, we also love being rated on the iTunes store.
I know.
I don't know when they're ever gonna take us seriously. I don't know what it takes to be taken seriously.
I still don't, but here's the thing about yes, please. It really helps us. Just like when you go to a record store and write on the wall, this record sucks or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing.
And who doesn't love hanging out on iTunes, the world's best piece of software ever?
Yeah, exactly. So next time you're hanging out on iTunes, looking for your MP3s, your AAC files, that you're buying only because your grandmother bought you a gift certificate to fucking iTunes for some reason.
Right, because it was next to the cash register at Walmart. Because apparently iTunes still exists also somehow.
Exactly.
I know I've mentioned the article I saw that said something like, the headline was something like, iTunes has been around for 15 years and it's still terrible.
It's more terrible than other. We've gotten into this before. I won't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, but Jesus H. Come on, Tim.
But I actually still use iTunes because I import CDs into my. It's fucking.
You still feel like owning media, which is the craziest thing of all time. Media, we just license and then it goes away.
I just don't want Spotify. It's like it's just too much. I don't ever get into anything on Spotify. I like spending time with things. I
salute you.
I'm trying to get as far, anything I can do to opt out of the scroll culture. It's like, which, speaking of, that's a great segue into our mommy blog for this week.
It is a great thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Spending time with things, though, Jeff, you should know, is very old fashioned.
I know, it's true. I know. Well, especially if it's XTC's Oranges and the Moons.
Yeah.
And you have been challenged by your co-host.
First segment?
Yes, let's do the mommy blogs.
Mommy blog, show me the way. Tell me where I've gone wrong today. Mommy blog.
Okay, mommy blogs. this is a tangent, a side hustle to the mommy blogs. It is not actually a mommy blog, but it's a story about mommy bloggers. And we should also open this up. Is it misogynistic of us to refer to it as the mommy blogs, Brendan?
Oh, I've wondered that yet myself, and it should be more just sort of like precious parenting.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
It's more about people who are overly precious about parenting, and so much so that they make it all about themselves and publish media about it, like blogs and stuff.
Yeah, we can change. We can change. We can change. Brendan, we can change. We can be as exemplars.
We can be part of the solution.
We can be part of the solution. Let's change the name of this segment.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
What do you think?
Precious parenting media output.
Precious parenting media output.
I know, it's true. I guess I have been like
kind of awesome, actually.
It was 2014 when we started this podcast, and that was ancient history.
God.
That was when you could be casually misogynist without even realizing it by naming a segment that was going to deride people, mommy blogs.
Yes.
Or what the mommy blogs are saying, I think was the original title.
Yes.
So what? I don't. Right, because it's not like they've cornered the mom groups. There's also a subreddit called "Shit Mom Groups Say."
Okay.
And so,
ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if the group that Sarah's in makes it onto that.
Oh, I'm sure it does. And it's mostly people posting things about like anti-vaccination and Bill Gates's microchips and all this kind of. And you're just like, you fucking idiot.
Oh,
you know
God.
what I mean? Like, it's just
taking us back to the Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages. Humans can't be entrusted with humanity.
I agree. Well, we'll consider that. We'll figure that out. We'll do the listeners. You don't let this concern you, listeners.
No.
This is up to me and Brendan.
This is inside baseball. This is under the hood.
That's right.
This is no one needs to listen to us workshop ideas.
No. Okay, so I'm going to go through this article. I've actually taken notes this week, so it's not going to be a lot of like blah blah blah. Then this happened, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, what you wrote here, we could read the entire thing and comment as we go, I think.
Well, okay. So I have okay. I'll read through it, Brendan. I'm going to say ahead of time. There's a couple. Do you have a piece of paper and a pen handy?
Yep.
Or the computer, I guess, that you're on right now. There are a couple of red flags in this article. I'm gonna have you. We're gonna play a fun game where you write down every time you hear a red flag, and then afterwards we'll compare notes.
Okay.
Okay.
And can I stop you when I get too passionate?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Paragraph 1. The video began like so many others. YouTubers Micah and James Stauffer in the glow of camera-friendly lighting staring into the lens. But this time, instead of energetically updating their roughly 1 million subscribers, over 700,000 on Micah's YouTube channel and over 300,000 on the family's vlog, The Stauffer Life, on their quote-unquote kiddos, or Micah's quote mommy morning routine, unquote, or vegan meal ideas. Just we're doing the red flag. I don't see you writing.
I was gonna raise my hand here. So you know what I was thinking? Libertarians are the vegans of the political spectrum.
Ooh, that's interesting. Hold that thought in your head. I want to hear that
Fucking
later.
vegan meal ideas. I hate them already. One more point of order. I used to go to the supermarket and buy frozen Stouffer's meals, which was spelled the same way. Could these be Stouffer's? The Stouffer's?
No, I think Stouffer's is an O, not a A.
I could be wrong. Proceed.
If I'm not mistaken. I believe they're Stauffers. I feel like I've heard of these people beforehand. Because they get into some hot water, as we'll learn later in the article.
And so far, for those of you just joining us, these are two people who have a vlog that is about their family. And so they've decided to share everything on the cesspool that is YouTube about their children's lives, whether their children agree to it or not.
Oh, and they most certainly don't. And we're going to be seeing a fuckload of lawsuits later in life by all these kids of
People need to,
parents
kids,
who have made a living off of their childhoods.
Kids, you need
maybe,
to
maybe even our
the
kids
fuck
actually
out of their parents. Yeah, sue the fuck out of your parents.
No, that is not legally admissible. That is Brendan's opinion. That was not allowed in a court.
Public opinion.
Brendan, I'm just saying, do not sue us, children, whose names I cannot reveal on air any longer.
Because we do the same thing.
That's exactly right.
But
Brendan.
it's not their. But we're not.
I'm
using,
protecting us.
Right. That's true. I see what you're saying. But we're not using their likeness.
That is true. We are not using their likeness.
Radio is no holds barred. I mean, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Fair. Okay. I got to delete some stuff. But okay. So anyway, wasn't a blog about their kiddos or mommy's morning routines. The couple had somber expressions on this video. This is by far the hardest video James and I have ever publicly had to make.
Point of
had
order.
to make.
And publicly had to make?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you've had to make harder videos privately.
Yes. Of course, yeah.
Like that time you got real experiment. I don't know. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. Wearing white shirts that matched the linens on the bed where they sat. That's a fun detail. The Staufers, I mean, what bed doesn't have white linens? Come on.
I know.
That's just a dick thing for the writer to say.
Unless it's a waffle pattern on the bed and a waffle pattern on their shirt, which makes them the dicks.
Yeah, that's true. If they coordinated their shirts with the beds.
For their apology video.
Not too cool. Their then almost 5-year-old autistic son. Oh, oops, I missed a line. The most important line in the story. The Staufers revealed that they had placed Huxley, their then almost 5-year-old autistic son from China, whose adoption process and life they had documented for more than 3 years, with his, quote, his now new forever family, unquote. Micah and James tearfully explain the extent of Huxley's needs had not been clear when they'd adopted him, that it was never supposed to happen this way, and that they loved him. Okay, so goes on. This is the kickoff. This gets you hooked in, and it caused this big controversy. Some people were for them, some people were against them, and then they basically stopped making videos after that, which we'll learn at the end of the piece. But I will say, like, just kicking off, like I was prepared to be just very angry at them. And I think this article reveals that it's deeper. Like there's an entire system of just shit to have to to be around. Like it's just a shitty system basically.
Yeah.
And they are perpetuators of it, but they are also trapped by it in their own ways. Okay, so she talks about how Micah started. She meets James and they both start doing YouTube full time. She starts posting these things with titles like "My Miscarriage Story at 6 Weeks Pregnant," live pregnancy test, just letting the camera in.
The parenthetical is interesting where it says her description: Micah with her amber highlights, high cheekbones, and considered casual outfits. Open parentheses. Her aesthetic might be described as mature Coachella, Moon Juice meets the mall, close parentheses. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's controversial. Like, they don't describe the dad, so that it's already sexist to just be like, and the woman's appearance is this, blah, blah, blah. But also, that is also a vicious burn at the same time.
It is a vicious burn. Well, we should also admit that we should also say that this is on The Cut, which is a women-focused website by a female writer, so...
Nonetheless, there's some misogyny to just describe that. In any
absolutely.
case,
women are not free of their misogynist beliefs. That is not something that is limited to men.
Did they name the child Huxley in honor of Aldous? And are they like?
I don't know if they named him Huxley in honor of Aldous Huxley, but they did name him Huxley. He had a different name until the age of 2, and then they named him Huxley.
In China, he had his given Chinese name, and then they're like,
correct.
no, that doesn't go with our aesthetic on our show.
No, it didn't fit their aesthetic. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to continue. You're writing down the red flags. Am I correct about that?
Oh, while you read, yes, go ahead.
By 2016, Micah was homeschooling. Other YouTubers had grown their audiences by sharing family milestones, and in a 2019 interview, James acknowledged that peak moments could increase viewership. New homes play well, as do pregnancy and new babies. Many successful family vloggers have 4 kids or more. Of course, yes. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Because there's more to it than just... there's more to it than just this SEO lifestyle. Like, okay, so Micah said she'd long wanted to adopt. At one point, she and James talked about having 6 or 7 children with multiple adoptions and were specifically interested in a child from Africa. It's an interesting
Oh, my God.
tidbit there. They just wanted a person from Africa. Okay. They say adoption experts don't really want you to do this. There's a little warning in the middle.
Yeah.
Don't-
When pressed, they could not determine whether Africa is a continent or a country.
Yeah. They just knew they wanted one of those kids.
Oh, I fucking hate these people.
Okay, so they decided that they were gonna adopt from Korea, right? Okay, so Micah began framing the couple's decision as a step they were being called to take, saying she was so excited to open our hearts and see what the good Lord has in store for us.
Okay, good. How do you spell good Lord? Because I'm writing things down.
You're picking up what I'm throwing down. Okay, so interesting. There are 2 different kinds of apparently like adoption services happening out of China. One is called, and they're both like focused on like kids with special needs. If you want a kid with special needs, the world is your oyster.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get some real, you can get like whatever you want, whatever disability you're looking for. There are plenty of kids with it out there, and you can adopt those kids pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one called the Log in Date program, LID program, in which children have more minor needs, and the Special Focus program, in which the children usually have more challenging conditions. Micah said James was initially interested in going the LID route, which is the minor needs route, but for reasons they didn't quite make clear, they decided to adopt from Special Focus instead. Let's just say there are 100 conditions. Me and my husband were comfortable with 99 of the conditions. So we were very, very open, Micah told her viewers at the time. What's the one condition they weren't comfortable with? I'm very curious.
Yeah, this is forever.
Yeah.
It's the one condition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Like responsibility was the one condition they weren't.
Right. This is actually real life.
Actual
and
child.
There's a human being on the other end of this fucking transaction.
Yes. So okay, so then Micah starts getting on these Facebook groups about adoption, right? It says that she starts talking to people about how she wants to adopt. She's suddenly one of those people, those people who this week they took up, woodwork, and now all they can talk about is woodwork, and everything comes back to woodwork. Like that's Micah with adoption, right?
Yeah.
She also talked about her vlog. She did ask to be followed if I wouldn't mind helping her out, that her family was really trying to get this vlog off the ground, Martin recalls. This is someone on the Facebook group with her. She framed it as wanting to use it as a way to document their adoption process, similar to how other families will blog about things. But those are blogs that are generally geared toward family, friends, people in your close community. The solicitation was off-putting, but Micah persisted. She would ask families, "Can you follow me? Can you go and like my videos?" In her adoption boards. Okay, so she's pitching. She's like trying to get followers. These people. Okay, so then they finally in October 2017, Mike and James, along with their 3 biological children, traveled to China to pick up Huxley. The accompanying video, which they called Huxley's Gotcha Day, a term popular on YouTube but criticized by the adoption community. Gotcha Day, Brendan.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So then they go to China. They get this kid. James later describes a moment as a turning point. When we went to China to adopt our son Huxley, we had a lot of people from China, from other countries, and even our followers here in North America kind of following along with us. And they were getting really revved up. China definitely was the point where we had a super loyal fan base following us, and they were always asking, what's the next content? Where's the next piece of this? He continued. We weren't daily at that point. We'd slow down to probably 3 times a week, and they were asking, hey, can you do daily? Can you do more content? We want to see how Huxley's doing, how the family's getting along. It's like, wow, okay, we have something here, and people are really interested in our journey.
This is like sleeping for a night in the sewer.
For a lifetime. You're just signing up for like you're like moving into the sewer hotel when you get on YouTube.
Hearing him talk about it, this is so disgusting. Please proceed.
Gross. Yes. Okay. So let's see. Then Huxley becomes a centerpiece of the videos. They start featuring her. I've got this picture of the guy with his tongue sticking out. It's just upsetting me.
On the plane.
Yes.
I hate it. Why do people stick their tongues out in pictures or like look not at the camera?
It's like a weird power move.
Be yourself. Look at the fucking camera. Oh my God! Stop. Put your tongue back in your mouth.
Okay. In marketing their videos, the riches were perhaps. Oh, wait. Okay, so we talk about another. Okay, there's this power blogger family that they become friends with, and then they start shooting videos with the other power vloggers. The most awkward word in the English language.
Amen.
And they're called the Riches. So the Riches were simply chasing the same formula other family vloggers were exploiting. Ruby and Kevin Frank, considered in the top tier of family vloggers with 2.44 million subscribers in their channel, 8 Passengers, earned almost 2 million views. Passengers, that's got to be religious, right?
Yeah.
Earned almost 2 million views on a video titled My First Shave, which includes an image of their tween daughter on the edge of a bathtub with shaving cream on her bare legs.
No.
And a video of their son named Officially Hit Puberty.
Oh.
With a description advertising voice cracking and sprouting, has almost 3 million views. Ugh.
I can't get clean.
It hurts. Okay, so as they bring in Huxley, their viewers increase, their lifestyle increase. They buy a home for $670,000 in an upscale suburb of Columbus. It's actually not a bad deal.
I lived in Columbus, Ohio for a year.
Yeah, I know you did.
And the amount you could get for 670, that would be the equivalent in LA of like $1.9 million.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can get a like 7-bedroom house for that much, for sure. Okay, so they're talking about getting maybe we'll adopt another kid. Then they learn that he's never going to be above average IQ. It's going to be a lot of work. It's really hard. Gosh, is this hard? So people start telling. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Did they think that like maybe prayer would cure him and it'd be a regular boy that would become?
I'm absolutely sure there was part of that. Happening.
And
there. If you think there wasn't magical thinking going on around this adoption,
right?
You got another thing coming. They thought they'd been sold a bill of goods. They're complaining like they had been told that he was smarter than he was. Michael doubled down. We would start to vlog, and maybe Huxley would go into a full-blown tantrum, and we don't know how to parent that tantrum because it's just out of control. And then I'm turning the camera off because I'm so sad and I'm not doing a good job, she said. Micah shared their struggles with various parenting publications and maintained that the challenges were worth the reward. My son has taught me to love completely and unconditionally, regardless of circumstances and without exceptions, she wrote for The Bump. Of course, because that's what you say. That's what you're supposed to say when people are questioning you. Inside, you're like, I hate this.
Right.
Kid.
When your kids are wondering when breakfast is, it's 11 a.m. and you've been writing press releases all morning.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, it's just we're having creative differences, me and the kid. By January of this year, Mike and James decided they needed a break and took a trip to Bali with their infant son, which they documented on Instagram. Just their kid, just one kid. They just went to Bali with one kid. That's what people can do, I guess, when you're a vlogger for a living.
Well, I think if you don't turn on a live stream so that their followers can babysit the rest of the kids.
Yeah,
then
right.
You can,
exactly.
If there's
right.
smoke, they can email them or tag them in a post, and then they'll be like,
hey,
"Oh,
listen,
we just got tagged that there's smoke in our house."
Listen, Brendan, those followers are parenting the children better than they are.
Well,
so they documented their trip on Instagram, of course. In the pictures, they are the image influencers tend to strive for. Well-traveled, happy, #blessed. Since adopting Huxley, Mylan James's online success had grown substantially. Total earnings are difficult to estimate, but the Stauffers earned from $4,100 to $66,000 from their 3 channels in April and May of 2020. according to analytics site Social Blade. So does that mean one site was earning $4,000 and the other was earning 66, or does that mean they were earning anywhere in that range? Because that's a pretty big range.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's probably closer to 66 grand a year. Okay, so then they start a new channel, of course, because they have all this time. This one. This is just a sidebar, but just anyone who listens to this and is like, I got to get into this vlogging thing. Last year, Google began rolling out policy changes affecting family YouTubers, first by disabling comments on content featuring young children, which cut off a crucial line of communication with their audiences. After news outlets...
Good.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Google. After news outlets reported pedophiles were time-stamping scenes in videos as a virtual bat signal to one another, a child swimming in a bathing suit, for example, or children in the bathtub.
Oh, fucking exact. Oh.
Yeah, so that's what you're putting your kids up to.
Yeah.
So we go on. They decide to get rid of the kid. They do it not on camera. The followers just notice that Huxley's gone.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And then,
bit of cowardice.
then they get into Then they get into where I started to have a little bit of sympathy for these people, in that apparently this is a big thing that's happening to very normal parents who are adopting from China, that they are being told incorrect information about their children.
Oh, yeah.
That they're adopting, and then they get home and they have completely different needs than they had anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And so giving a child back up for adoption is not something that only these vlogging parents are doing. I can sympathize with that. I can't. It's just sad. It's sad all around. Like these poor kids with special needs who have nowhere to go, like to then go to a family and then be taken away. And it's just a shitty situation all the way around. Right.
Yeah.
So that I can have some sympathy for, like, but okay. Lauren, who's Lauren? Sorry. I outlined another thing. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is a parent who had to give her other child away, or who gave her child away because it was more difficult than she expected. Lauren initially decided to speak publicly about her experience to help other adoptive parents who might be struggling and to encourage them to get support. Though she received some compassionate messages, the insults drowned them out. Most of the cruelest comments were from women. I think fear is behind the hatred, she said. These women, and it will be women, they don't want to admit that they would have crumbled. They feel like they would have had the mental willpower to have coped. So, I can sympathize with that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then they announced that they released this teary-eyed video. They announced that they are giving up Huxley. After their announcement, Micah changed her social media profiles to reflect that she is the mother of 4 kids, not 5, and then deleted content featuring Huxley. The Stout for Life disappeared as well, including the couple's 7-minute tearful plea. Micah hasn't returned to YouTube, nor has she posted on her Instagram since the apology. Good. For now, then it ends with, for now, Mike and James remain quiet. Okay, never mind. I guess we don't need the ending. I don't know why I highlighted that. But there's another couple of points in this that I apparently forgot to highlight, where they say that, like, Micah is an important part of their story. Like, they talk about their story a few times.
Oh,
like
Wait, you mean Huxley's an important part of the story?
Huxley, yeah, sorry. Huxley is an important, yeah. Micah is a very important part of the story, but Huxley is an important part of their story, and that, like, they just the way that they're viewing their entire life through the lens of a story that they're a part of, right? Mm-hmm. So okay, Brendan, that was long-winded. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did. But
I do.
Do you have any immediate reactions?
I have nothing but immediate reactions.
Okay.
One being, the problem with American life is accessorizing.
No, okay.
And
all right.
accessorization.
That's what I hear as a good old fashioned Brendan Hughes proclamation.
Yes, that's
okay.
right. Yeah, she was like, "How can I accessorize our YouTube story with something that will get us more fame or whatever the drug the glass pipe she was sucking on?" There is a way in which I mean, this is so insidious from beginning to end that she
Yeah.
was guilty of the magical thinking that would lead her to get more of them YouTube babies so that she can get more of the views and
Yeah.
and she can outdo the other families and go into the next vlogosphere if she does this giant thing that involves like saving a baby that has some problem with prayer or whatever, or just like the force of her cheekbone, whatever the hell you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
there, it is so disturbing that the sense of the drive for fame. This is the balloon boy all over again.
Yeah.
The drive for fame and the being a victim of the story you're trying to tell the world about yourself and buying your own and getting high on that supply,
Sure.
it is the collapse of the human race. And the
Right.
way in which there's so many ways, like I'm learning how to guitar solo right now over the pandemic
Okay.
by like Patreon subscribing to some guy. You know, that's the internet at its best. The
Yeah.
internet, and then this is the internet at its fucking worst, where people absolutely suffer. Huxley suffers. He's taken out of his home culture for the purpose of a publicity stunt, and then
Yeah.
is disposed of when his storyline is canceled.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's horrible, and
It
it
is.
there. I think no parent should be allowed to, against the will of their child, share their likeness on the internet. No pictures on fucking Instagram, no
Oh yeah.
YouTube. It only goes south.
No, there will be a like what's that, the Jackie Coogan law or whatever, the passed for like child actors. There will be some kind of law like that passed where, because there is absolute exploitation of your children,
Absolutely.
and they're making a shit ton of profit off of it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, no, it's my channel. Like that money is not going to go to the kids.
No.
Like that's their money. They're using that for their life. And the kids are forced to like grow up in front of the camera,
Yep.
like have other people watching them. And there's something also like, so Hazel has started watching YouTube videos, and just the entirety of it as a phenomenon, and like the people showing their like what you're saying. Okay, a person teaching a thing, like that's awesome. I do love that about YouTube, right? But the personality stuff where like she does watch this one family in Australia, and they're just so it's just so their life looks so fun. And so then like people watching at home are like, why isn't my life that fun?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's just like creates this ripple effect where like everyone is like, these people are putting on a fake life for the camera, and then people are watching it and feeling depressed because their life isn't that good.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's nothing but bad. Like what are we gaining from this world?
Then the only parenting that those children are actually getting is while they're on film.
Right. Yeah.
The rest of the
exactly.
time, the parents are buried in their phones. I guarantee it.
Sure. And you're editing out the moments when they express like a real emotion, or all that stuff is gone. It's just like why do
It's palatability.
yeah, why do we need deep fakes? We're deep faking ourselves.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
I so yeah, there's that. And then also like, so Hazel's also been watching this other thing, this person called Wenji, who's like another Australian. They're all in Australia for some reason. But she's like mid-20s, this woman who plays like, she just makes whatever. I mean, there's just all these people who they've got like 50 channels, and they make videos about like here I'm going to document my breakfast for my breakfast channel, and then go over to my pink channel to look at me in pink outfits. It's like, and it's this 25-year-old woman, or with her boyfriend, who the other day I go into Hazel's room, and her boyfriend is sitting there wearing a unicorn outfit, like a unicorn onesie. And I'm just like, it's just this weird perpetual, like they're doing this for an audience of 9-year-olds. these fully grown adults.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, what? It just feels like an accident waiting to happen, or like one of them is just gonna start slipping in some like white power keywords or something, and
Right. Right.
like it's just like you never know where it's gonna go. It's not like vetted by anyone. This whole
No.
world.
Yeah, exactly. And the alt-right knows that, and that is exactly what they do.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Are you interested in learning about why this race is stealing money from your mom and dad? Like,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, that they could be spending on toys for you instead. And then suddenly my daughter's a member of the Hitler Youth. It's just like, come on.
It's really, really awful. It's
Yeah.
really awful. I mean, the cesspoolery of a shared. I remember it coming. I remember broadband coming, and I remember being like, "It is going to be so awesome when everyone is their own TV channel, and everyone can put out their own content, and it will democratize everything, and we won't have these 3 networks shoving crap down our throats." But now it's the entire world shoving crap down our throats. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It's the
exactly.
content. Nothing got better. Everything got more evil and horrible.
Right. Well, I mean, I think about this with music, which actually, like, I'll go on Bandcamp sometimes, and there are like fantastic bands sitting there on Bandcamp. But it's like, I just don't feel like I always think about like there's like we're living through this most horrible period in like American history, like definitely since the Vietnam War. And like Vietnam, everyone's got like Creedence is doing anti-Vietnam songs. You've got Crosby, Stills and Nash. You've got like Jimi Hendrix out there. And who's creating that music today? Like there's so many venues that you can make music. Anyone in their bedroom can make music, and yet no one in their bedroom is making protest music. Like why it's just like it proliferates the sameness.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more sameness out there. Like, oh, I can tap into that sameness.
It comes down maybe ultimately to the pursuit of sensations versus the pursuit of anything else.
That's going to be one of our t-shirts.
The pursuit of sensations.
Yeah, or something about don't pursue sensations.
Yeah.
That's a Brendan Hughes credo in the
Absolutely.
Dad Jeans universe.
Don't pursue the sensation of feeling famous because it makes you a horrible person.
Yeah, it's a horrible. It's a bad disease. It's useless. It's a useless thing.
Fame is useless, and you hurt the people you love that way.
Oh yes,
that
exactly.
is the one-way ticket to hurting people you love is by pursuing the sensation of being famous.
Yep, agreed. But even like people sitting there on Facebook now, like it's gotten into all of our heads. Like people sitting there on Facebook thinking they're famous for like their friends and family. Like they're acting like they make arguments as if they're famous, as if they're coming from some place of like expertise,
right. And making
you're just like
public statements about things and issuing public statements and things.
Yes. What do you think you are?
I had decided I wasn't gonna say anything about this, but the time has come, and you're like about your
we've been
your
waiting.
Cat dying. Who gives a shit? And who are you? How did we become friends on Facebook?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you think we all been waiting breathlessly to hear about your dead cat?
That's
like no.
Right.
Keep it inside.
But they still use like press secretary language.
Right. Yeah, it's so true.
I wasn't going to post about this, but no one's watching. And I used to like say like no one's watching the movie of your life, but it's so much harder now to convince people of that because people spend their entire lives trying to get people to watch the movie of their lives. But
so true.
The truth remains, no one's watching. No one's watching.
No, well, no one's watching the real movie of your life. That's the thing. Like, what you think you're in this movie, but like you have to edit it heavily in order for anyone to watch it. So it's like
real movies.
You're not even in the movie that you think you're in.
Right.
Yeah. God. Okay. Is that a good segue into Grave New World?
Oh yes, it certainly is. It's actually it might be an even better segue into True Daddy Confessions if we can swap those.
We can swap them and maybe even skip Grave New World because basically Grave New World is just fucking depressing. Like I'm just looking out and like it's just gray. It's awful here. I can't breathe. It's so smoky. It's like it's just a fucking nightmare. Does anyone care? We're all in the same nightmare together, right? Let's be the light in our audiences.
Let's be the light. Let's be
journey.
The light. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Okay.
Oh, by the way, what were the red flags you wrote down?
oh, good Lord. I don't know, just that whole thing.
Yeah.
Where she's part of. Speaking of stories, like she's like, this is part of this whole savior white savior
Oh
story.
yeah. Oh yeah.
New like just pumping out more babies, and of course
Oh
homeschoolers.
yeah.
Like
Yep. Yeah. A good
the
one. Yep.
whole thing is the way that people she's just going down that rabbit hole, and I'm
Yeah.
sure she votes for Trump.
But it's so interesting. They're like, we got to save everyone. We've got to save our children from this wicked culture by starting a vlog.
Right.
Like, what is how there's so it's so
The
like
hypocrisy.
you are the thing you're trying to save your children from.
It is so glorious. We are the people we've been waiting for. Like Obama said, it's actually the opposite. We are the people we need to be fighting.
Yes, exactly. We are our own worst enemy.
Oh my God. And so, yeah, right. And how do we not feel despair? Because, I mean, I think so. This is a subset of society. There are people who catch this disease
Yeah.
that the Stauffers got. So, but there are also tons of serious human Americans who would be equally just appalled by this and know that it's wrong. So there's a
Yeah.
very loud Kardashian minority, and they're a clamorous, loud people. And then there are a lot of sensible, ordinary humans who are trying their best. And we outnumber these shrill signals emitting
Yes.
from these giant suburban McMansions.
Oh, we absolutely do. We outnumber them to a giant extent. Like, but it doesn't matter because they're the vocal ones.
Right.
So then we like retreat into our shell. And we're like, I guess there aren't as many people out there like me as I thought.
Yeah.
But it's not true. We're
Right.
the vast majority.
We're everywhere. The problem is we're too polite.
Yes, it's so true. We're fuck politeness.
Fuck
Okay,
politeness.
let's move into True Daddy Confessions.
True Daddy Confessions.
1, 2, 3. Oh no! What's Daddy been thinking? Oh no! What's Daddy been drinking? True Daddy Confession.
And it's actually a perfect segue, if you don't mind me taking the wheel.
Please drive, brother.
In that, everything I just. So this is my True Daddy confession. Everything I just lambasted the Stauffers for,
Yeah,
I'm guilty of.
you embody yourself.
I embody
but
myself.
Brendan, that is the height of I don't know what it is. Taking responsibility as you are doing right now. That's maturity. That's what you have.
Thank you.
You
Well,
have.
I am not.
Good for you to be able to examine how much of a shitheel you are too.
Oh wait, hold on a second. What did you say, Oscar? Yes, was it on the piano? It was lovely.
Oh, that was the sweetest little. Can you turn that into a sample? Did you hear my music? It's just so sweet. I heard that little whisper.
As a bit of joy, let me say this. This 2020, of course, is an absolute fuck show. And on top of all of it, I have had an unbelievable amount of health problems in addition to it. So this has just been a fucking hideous year. But
I'm so sorry to hear that.
on top of it, though, I will
As
say,
are our listeners.
oh, thanks, listeners, and Jeffrey.
I didn't see it on your vlog, so I assume.
Yeah,
that you
right.
were
I know it's
healthy.
it's nobody's business. But
Right. Good for you.
Anyway, I mean, it's not even I don't even want it to be my business. So why would I want it to be hundreds of people I don't know's business? Dozens of people I don't know's business.
Dozens. You're still a little high, but okay.
So I have got to spend so much time with that kid, and we are genuinely close now in a way that we haven't been up until 2020.
I love it.
And it's been awesome to get to know him and have a ton of inside jokes and be just good. I know it's controversial to be like friends with your kids. And I'm not here to be his friend necessarily, but we're like friends, and it is great.
Sure.
So like in the best way, not in the unhealthy, codependent, like over identifying way. Although there's plenty of that too.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
We're all human.
He's a great kid. So
Yeah.
in any case, I am guilty of everything I just accused the Stauffers of, because my true daddy confession. Emily came in the other day. This is sort of leading up to it. She was like, I can't remember what she said, but as a joke, came in the office and I had to talk about something, and she said, "Is it an emergency?" And I said, "Oh, I had to do something for work or whatever." And my retort was, which is my job around here, is to have retorts. That's how I contribute to the house. I don't really, I do the dishes, I guess, and
It's
I fold
important.
the I make a mean bed, but
Yeah.
I don't like doing the floors, and
No,
I
who
don't
does?
cook. So Emily has to cook and do the floors. So I try and make up for it by doing the bat. I clean a mean toilet, I make a mean bed, I do the
And you
dishes,
retort.
and I retort.
Okay.
And I retorted, my career is an emergency.
Oh,
Kidding on the square.
damn. Let's look at you. Yeah.
And I was like, she's like, ah ha ha. She doesn't really laugh when I make retorts. She's like, okay, so then, and she's like, moves on or whatever. But in any
Right.
case,
Yeah.
she, excused herself. She backed slowly out of the room as she's wanted to do. And then I was left with having said the kid on the square thing where I joke the truth and realize the truth by having joked the truth. And I was like,
Right.
fuck, that's definitely true. And not only that, it
Yeah.
feels like my career is the household's biggest emergency. To me, it feels like my career is the household's biggest emergency
Mm,
because I have so little time to do anything ever.
sure.
And because like I see it as Emily's sort of taking the turn as being more winning more bread and being more kind of out there, and she's really cooking in her career in a wonderful way, and I'm very happy for her.
Really? In
Um,
spite of the fact that there's the opportunities to shoot things are so limited now.
they
You're
are
saying that she is
becoming
okay.
unlimited. They have come
Really?
back. Yeah, she shoots a lot now,
Okay.
and she gets a
In
COVID test every week.
Oh wow. Okay. Where you oh, we'll talk about that off the air.
She's
We
not
have to get another test.
yeah,
Where do
she's
you
not
go?
flying. Oh, she goes to Dodger Stadium.
Okay.
She's not flying to work. She's just a local hire at this point, but there's plenty of work to do. She's doing like weird other shit. She's not shooting docs now. Like today, she's shooting a infomercial about a like a Chinese kitchen appliance, and but the stuff comes up, and everyone wears
Okay.
masks, and she's figured out how to do it. Blah blah. Anyway, she's taking like and so I'm staring down the barrel of 50 being 50 in a couple of
Yeah.
years, and I'm like, no one hires 50-year-olds.
No, no, no.
So
No, no, no.
I can't just like tap out and just like hang out and sort of like do the house and the meals and stuff like that. I can't because I'll
Yeah.
never put together a career again. So I have to kind of like eke out some sort of like fake career doing projects and staying kind of like half active, but even that is impossible based on everything in 2020 and everything else. And so it all feels and forget ever directing a feature film, which is what I moved out here in the fucking first place for, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's all over. But
Right.
how to do everything I'm saying right now to you, like how to not just disappear, is something that weighs really heavily on my mind
Right.
professionally. And this is a real curse because who gives a shit? No one's watching. Because as I would have said to Micah Stauffer, this is who gives a shit? No one's watching the movie of your life. No one's watching the movie of my life. No one is like, come on, Brendan's career. Oh, what a
Yeah.
disappointment. Ooh, a
Right.
no from the film festival. Isn't that sad? Or whatever. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like it's all no one cares, but I care too much and it is hurting the people I love.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thanks.
But that's such an American mentality too, is that like we are all on our own. It's fucking awful. This is my grave new world. I'm just like, how much more alone can we be? Where like no one, like in a normal functioning country, you wouldn't be worried about your career right now. Like there would be plenty of jobs that you could do
Mm-hmm.
because you're a very capable, competent person,
Mm-hmm.
and they wouldn't be the focus of your life. And you do them, and if you didn't do them, you'd get a healthy like benefits package from your country.
Yep.
Like France I just read is they've just eked a resolution that for the next year they will pay 85% of a furloughed employee's salary.
Wow.
85% for
Yeah.
a year.
And in Denmark, the taxes are so high, people only become doctors because they want to be doctors, not because or they become investment bankers because they, I don't know, love quants or whatever it is. But they don't,
right.
they don't do it because being rich or dying trying is the only mode of modus operandi.
Well, because people want to do a job. It's like you like that whole right-wing bullshit that like, oh, if we give people too much, they're not going to work. It's just like maybe you wouldn't work because you're a lazy piece of shit.
Yep.
but everyone else in this country wants to work
and have purpose.
Like,
right.
Yeah, and have purpose and do something that like contributes to society.
Exactly.
Like, but it's just like you're not, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I would assume if you wanted to, like, you can probably make enough money as a waiter, like with Emily's salary bundled in, like 3 nights a week. If you really wanted to go that route, if it's all about money,
right,
then you could do that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That's not it.
Yeah, or
it's about finding some satisfaction in your job that you might not find. You just might not find. It just might not exist in our society.
Not in this country. I mean, no, because it has been decided for us that the point is wealth and growth. And
yes, exactly. Yes.
And so people, as Brian Perkins once elegantly said, rent out 40 hours a week of their lives or more, 50 hours a week of their lives, 60.
Sure.
To some soulless entity in order to have 2 precious days where you something else, recover from that. Who knows?
Yeah, or where you're actually like with your children and thinking about work.
Yeah. And coupled to all this and sort of purposefulness is, I think we also have to say that raising children, should that be what you decide your purpose is as legitimate as having a job.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I think so. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, but in this country, in this 2-income ridiculous just get rich, that's what it's all about country.
You can't. That's not a choice.
Nothing is possible unless you were born rich.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know a couple of people who have made their own way in the world, and I fucking hate them.
Doing what they love, and like people who went to public school and then they were like, I'm gonna direct opera, and now they're eating $45 entrees.
No, everyone I know who is successful has had the normal advantages afforded to white people born whose parents have not had to struggle for money ever.
Right.
I don't know anyone who went from literal rags to riches.
No, that whole bill of goods, fucking. Ugh.
Yeah. No, that's like the one super genius or the one super lucky guy who's just
everyone
I know. That's Eddie Murphy. That's like fucking someone who's just so good that like just born good, and he's just gonna fucking get it because he's so good. Everyone I know who was successful in the entertainment industry was already rich. Was already rich. Everyone. Wow, that's fascinating. Let me think. I definitely upper middle class at least.
Yep.
I can't say.
Yeah, I would say upper
rich,
middle class. Upper middle class was upper middle class, or were born that way and they themselves were like broke briefly, like everyone is in their 20s, but then just went right back to being upper middle class again.
Right. Yeah.
They went back to their default. I think it's like
it's about access. A lot of it is about access.
It's about access.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you have the access, then life is much easier for you.
Yeah.
You have like the friend who can throw you a bone to get you on that thing in which leads to the other thing, and it's like, and you don't have to try all that hard all the way along.
Right.
Like I know professional TV writers who are shitty writers.
Yeah.
I'm like, I came out here, I'm like, how, like you must have to be a genius writer in order to get on a TV show, but no.
Oh yeah, no.
You can be a bad writer and make a lot of money writing.
Holy shit, it's incredible.
I can't. I didn't go to Harvard.
Yeah, you got to go to Harvard Westlake High School.
Yeah,
it's too late by the time you're 14 years old.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. But we could start a vlog, make a lot of money doing that.
Oh, let's just show our children's likenesses.
Yes.
Can you hear right now Oscar playing the recorder right outside the door?
It's nice. It's like our bed music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to go now? You're going to go off the mic and it's quite loud actually.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We get it. All right. Hold on. I will go address this situation.
Okay. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Emily's working today, and I'm actually going to appear. It's a Chinese infomercial, and I'm going to appear in it.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Are you gonna
Talking
what
about,
are you
they
gonna
sent
do?
me my lines. They were like, they needed a man to do a testimonial, and so
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be grilling and be like, before I use the Arca Steam deep air fryer, I had a hard time cooking chicken, but now I can cook chicken, fish, vegetables, and the hype is real. I really or whatever, you know. I mean, then they give me
You better
$100.
sell it better than that,
That's
brother.
all I got.
I don't want to buy the Arc of Steam after that lackluster performance.
And Emily was like, "This thing's a piece of shit." She was shooting it yesterday, and she was like, "It's supposed to be a deep fryer, air fryer, like
Oh
steamer. You
no.
can cook rice. That's a bunch of bullshit. This is at best an air fryer, and it breaks all the time."
Oh god. It's the corn baller
It's the
from
corn baller. It's exactly that.
what it is.
So I'm doing an infomercial about the corn baller today.
Oh, that's awesome. That is super cool. I'm very excited for you. You could become famous off of that.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna become famous, and it's
I
internal
hope
to the
so.
company too, so it's an industrial.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so my true daddy confession, Brendan, is I was listening to our episode last week, and it's sort of like dovetailing with conversations that Sarah and I have been having a lot about gender lately.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, I don't know if you know this, but she worked at Children's Hospital in the transgender children's wing.
I didn't know they
That
had
was
one. Oh, that's wonderful.
they do, yes, and that was her last internship as she finished out her master's of social work degree. So now she has sort of like gained an insight into that community, and she started in COVID. She has been started doing therapy for transgender kids and their parents. And because it's a world she's interested in, and that has sort of we talk about gender a lot in our household now, and and Hazel is now like she's like, do I want to be called a boy or a girl? Am I like, is Hazel too girly a name? Like she's starting to express these sorts of like
Oh.
questions about gender. It just leads back to, we had this conversation last week where we're just all very, I feel like the easy response is to just be like, well, like kids know innately what they are, and you just support them in that. And like, that is always like that, like, for like kids who are gay, like
Mhm.
if you're gay, you just know you're gay and you just support that as a parent. The gender stuff I find slightly trickier because it is opening up a world of possibilities, in that like gender itself is a construct. We can all agree with that. Like I think I'm a man. Like I think I am completely comfortable with being a man, mostly because I have a dick and it seems like a lot of work to not be a man. So I'm just like, okay, sure, that's it. And there was no choice when we were kids. Like there weren't different options. So I'm grappling with, how do you separate like this sort of world of possibilities in which you can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like you can be partly male, partly female. You can express yourself X way, you can express yourself Y way. And like this sort of like innate knowledge, this innate like conviction of who you are. And I feel like kids who are like if you're a like born as a girl and you hate having long hair and you just want to you just want to wear clothes, and you just see boys and you're like, I'm a boy, like you feel that inside. Like that to me is even more conviction than I have,
Mm-hmm.
because you're like, you're seeing that I could be something else. And that's what I feel I am. And like, I don't necessarily have that. I'm just like, I'm a guy. Sure. Why not? Like that decision has been made for me. I don't have to think about that one anymore,
Yeah, right.
But so I just don't know what, like, I don't know what, are there parameters that are helpful in life with our children? Is opening up this whole, like, yeah, there's no such thing as gender. Is there anything potentially harmful to that? Or is it just all gravy? Like, if we get rid of the concept of gender, then like everyone will be freer and happier. I don't know. I'm grappling with this right now. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see. It is we are very much in the soup. as a society about this right now.
Yes,
And
very much in the
there
suit.
there are the backwards dinosaurs who just don't get it, and they just
Yeah,
have
they're
they
just
just have
it's
to
we
go.
don't need to think about that.
No, they
That's
just
not
need to
real. Yeah.
shuffle off and and just dispose of themselves because they're not going to be a useful part of this conversation.
No.
There are the people who have the psychological daring do to be like, I'm not what everything in society tells me I am. I salute that because that takes a level of imagination and courage that
Yes.
I like you am not capable of. I either was on this spectrum lottery. I was born like a 1 on the Kinsey scale. I'm not like I just like I am just full on heterosexual. I think.
Yeah.
Never gave it much thought because it feels like a very strong impulse within me,
Sure.
and
You don't have to if you're straight.
right. Oh, but I'm actually right now conflating sexuality with gender, and I shouldn't do that. But I should. What I'm
Well, but
saying is
it's a good analogy because it is another thing that we've all sort of adapted or that society has adapted to. It's another like sort of new-ish thing for society to judge like, okay,
Yeah.
we get it, like you're born gay, like that's a thing now that we believe as
Right,
a,
yeah.
mainly as a culture, except for like you said, some backwards ass dipshits. But
yeah,
yes.
and the dipshits just have to go. It should just be not a part of the conversation. So
Yes, if only that they weren't running our government. But okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing is, I think there are the people who are in the struggle. There are people not in the struggle who are empathic allies who might say the wrong thing, and there are dipshits. Those are the
Sure.
three groups. And
Okay.
and there are two struggles. There's a gender struggle and there's a sexuality struggle, and those actually are different. And unfortunately, the empathic allies are like, "Oh, those are different," like me just now. And so, so a part of this has to be led by the people in the struggle to some extent. But like white supremacy, it's our problem. Like it's society's problem. It's not the problem of the people who are suffering under the at the hands of the dipshits. It's our problem. It's the allies' problem, etc. So I think we all have to somehow be forgiving of the clumsiness of being in the vanguard and the soup of a moment like this, which is just in the second half of our lifetimes coming to be a fomentous, if that's a word, part of like integral part of society. And we as hapless is the wrong word, but we as allies, as empathic allies with children, are dutifully raising them to be total allies and maybe part of the struggle and not have to carry the burden of shame along with it.
Okay, but what is there like? Are we opening up new doors to confusion in a confusing enough period of life as is?
Well, the problem is the dipshits who want to keep everything binary.
Right. No, I mean, but that's okay. That was my question. I think for Sarah is that like, like, okay, we believe in spectrums. We don't believe in black and white. That is also a very like dad genes thing that we don't believe that there are not two answers. There's nuance in life.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum, but kids, they play cops and robbers. They play good guys and bad guys. When can kids understand the idea of a spectrum?
Oh, that is a great question. Right.
And how do you let them? How do you teach them that? Or is that a developmental thing? Like you literally can't understand it until you're a certain age,
Right. Yeah. Like math is logarithmic. It goes 1, 3, 9 until it goes 1, 3, 6.
Sure. I guess that's more math than I've ever understood, but okay.
Right. There's a developmental stage where you can't do multiple. It's hard to. I actually already forget. There's a radio lab about it, but the point is that there's a thing where for when you're learning to age, it's 1, 2, many, and then eventually it's 1, 2, 3, many, and then it's 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, many. And so when is a spectrum? When can we introduce the idea that life is just complicated and there are no easy answers to our tiny children?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know the answer to that. And I don't know, do we ultimately just have to have faith that an identity is an identity and you'll figure out your identity, no matter where no matter how you're raised or what we tell you, and therefore like it's not even a danger. Like, why should we even worry about it? Like, we should teach them to just be open-minded and then figure it out from there.
Right.
Or are we introducing potentially new conflicts within people that don't need to be there?
Well, yeah, no,
Is there such a thing?
I think the conflicts only catch fire if there's timber to burn, in a way. Like there's a certain, and there. Otherwise, it will be. All we can do is equip them to make the these decisions with as little shame as possible. Because the dipshits raise their children to believe that it's just one or the other, and you're born this way. That's it.
Yes, and if you're not, you're wrong.
And if you're not wrong, you're against
bad.
God or whatever. Like the dipshits. Yeah. And here's the other question. Here's the question beneath the question. You're like It's so exhausting being a progressive. It is so fucking exhausting because life is so complicated, and I feel like only we see it. The dipshits who go to Joel Osteen every weekend and give him a Ferrari are like, everything makes sense. You know what I mean? Like they just go and they sit in their great room and watch the big game and eat carbs and die. You know what I mean? Like everything, and life is great for them, and it all makes sense. And they're like, it all makes sense. But you never hear about their niece, who none of them have heard from because she moved to San Francisco when she turned 18. Et cetera, like that. So I just don't know how to do it. For people for whom life just makes sense as a binary suburban bullshit hellscape, great, I guess. But they're also the dipshits that are making all the rest of our lives hell. I don't know what to do. Like, do we?
And they're minor again, like we were saying earlier. Like they are not the majority, but they walk around with their dicks hanging out like they are the majority. And I'm just like, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Let the majority be the majority, for fuck's sake.
They're so exhausting. And they've known this in Europe since World War II. There have been like they've just figured it all out. And I don't know. I don't know. It's very frustrating to share a nation with conspiracy theorists and suburban Republican.
Ooh, boy, is it ever, especially when we're on fire.
Yeah.
Let's move into fatherly advice.
Fatherly advice.
Help me, Daddy. Fatherly advice. Help me, Daddy. Fatherly advice.
Thank you. It's going dark again.
It has to be dark. We can't. We can go no other way.
It's not a dark time.
No,
it's a dark time. Brian,
dark time.
Brian's description last week, where he was like, "I'm this lucky, happy-go-lucky guy that hugs everyone and is so happy," and then you listen to Dad Jeans and I fucking hate everything. I was like, "Oh wow." Yeah, I guess I think of Dad Jeans as this like private. I don't actually imagine us having any listeners, and it's just I tell the absolute truth. Right.
Yeah, it's much easier that way. There are times that like my family will like contact me and be like, after listening to Dad Jeans, and be like, "Are you okay?"
Oh yeah. Like, sometimes I get the, "Is your marriage okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm very happily married. Why?"
Yeah, it's a bit. It's all a bit, you guys.
This is a character.
Well, this is my therapy though. Like I inevitably come out of these conversations and have a nicer day.
Same.
Because we've had some time to digest.
Okay, then I have a question for you. Should this be daily on XM for the morning drive?
I think so.
Morning
Absolutely.
Zoo with Jeff and Brendan. That'd be pretty great.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just like it'll just take us like an hour to like play a song. We'll just be like, we can't. We got shit to talk about.
It's all rolling breaks.
Yeah. Okay. Fatherly advice. What is your fatherly advice, my friend?
I'm worried I've already said this, so therefore I have a second one. But my fatherly advice, and tell me if I have already said this on Dad Jeans, is that the time will pass anyway.
Okay. I don't know if you have.
So if you have this big thing you're procrastinating on, and you're like, I really want to learn how to solo on guitar, like I am learning now. But it's going to take forever. That forever time that it would take to learn solo on guitar is going to pass anyway. And then you'll be on the other side of it, and you'll be like, shit, I by now could have learned how to solo on guitar, and I didn't.
That is so true. I think about that with weight loss all the time, and I haven't conquered it yet. I philosophically, I am with you 100%. I've been trying to lose weight for as long as you've known me, and like, think of if I had started 6 years ago and kept to it, like think of what a strapping young lad I would be right now. Like I can't stick with it. And it's always like 2 months is what you need to like lose significant weight. You know, 2 months goes by all the time.
Yeah.
I'm constantly going past 2 months and being like, what just happened?
Right.
Like, yeah, you're so right. You're so right. It's something to internalize, and I'm terrible at it.
It's right. And then you're like, son of a bitch, it happened again. 2 months just went by again.
Yeah.
I've been trying to relearn Spanish forever. And I'm like, by now I would be fluent. And so
Sure.
there's just certain thing. This really hit home for me when I kind of marked as 3-year terms went by. My grad school is 3 years long, and it felt like a lifetime in that period, partly because what I was doing was so intense, but it was actually incredibly short. Ever since, there have been I've had 6 more 3-year sessions of life since then, and a period of 3 years when in that period I completely changed as a human being happen over and over and over again. And so in 3 years, you can completely transform yourself into somebody else. And
that's so true.
And guess what? In 3 years, it will have been 3 years since you had that thought. And then you could be a completely different person, and you weren't. And you're like, oh, and the 3 years passed, even though I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's the same thought again in different.
No, you're totally right. But, but I'm always surprised, like when I do look back on where I was 3 years ago, I feel as if nothing has changed. And I look back and I'm like, wow, I really accomplished. I got a lot of shit done in those 3 years somehow, you know?
Yep.
Like it is true that you can be a significantly different person. It's just, there's something about the way days work that it just doesn't feel like anything is ever changing. But you're right. You gotta have a wider view of time is what you have to have.
A wider view of time. Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So my fatherly advice is again another one that I have a hard time following myself, but we've spent a lot of time talking about these online dipshits who we get into arguments with and who are just like so binary. And my advice for arguing with them is do not let yourself be distracted. Like do everything in your power to not let yourself be distracted. If you get into an argument with one of these motherfuckers, like take whatever the first point was that you object to and only address that.
Oh yeah.
Because they're going to come in there with their guns ablazing and give you 50 points in a giant like 2-page screed, and you just go right back to what they were saying. Like just ignore all of that other shit. Keep them on track and keep it short. Do not write these diatribes.
Yes.
Like 1 or 2 sentences is all you need per comment, because your real goal is not to convince them of anything. It's to make them look foolish to everyone else who's reading that post.
Ooh, yes, that's good. Yes. That's really good advice.
Yeah. So that's how you do it. Don't let them distract you, because you know that's all they have is like, oh, here's 50 things, and here's a link, and here's a bunch of other links, and this is what blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly you're talking about something completely different, and they've won. If that's where you end up, they have won.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't let them win. Don't let the fuckers win.
Amen. And I am guilty of this. I got into a whole thing with this guy who's like, I'm a centrist. I see things wrong with both sides. But he was as binary as everyone else, and he was just there to troll the libs, you know.
Right.
And I took the bait. I fucking took the bait, and all of his other like quote unquote centrist but actually Republican pals jumped in and started being like, what about this? What about that? Et cetera, et cetera. And I just like wrote these long things to each person and tried to be a good person, and I just fucking fell into the trap.
You gotta find restraint. Find your way to restraint, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Amen, brother.
Amen. And I think that's the end of our podcast this week.
I think we've done wonderful work in spreading the good Lord's good news. Good night.
Hey!